Many thanks for joining us on Chris TV 254 Punchline. I'm your host, Crescent Oma, and today we are hosting the three Multimedia University presidential candidates. And these are the current president, Sheldon Washa, the current speaker, Hilary Ayo, and of course, the ambitious Kiama Gitoku. And this conversation is also live both on MMU Radio and Mount Zion Radio. So as the three takes off their punching gloves, I would like to inform you that I'm not only in the officiating, I'm not the only one officiating this Royal Rumble tussle, of course, between the three who have already taken off their gloves. But of course, I'm being helped by my co-host who is at the far left.
Yes, I'm the co-host, Marian Jackson. And Chris, you have to agree with me that this is one of the biggest interviews that we'll be having as Chris TV 254. And we want to know what these fierce aspiring leaders have for us. And we will start by them introducing themselves and telling us what course they're taking. We shall start with Hilary.
Thank you so much. My name is Hilary Ayo. I'm undertaking a degree in civil engineering. Currently, I'm in year 4.
Washa, the current president of
Okay, thank you for this time. I'm Sheldon Washa, the current school president, and God willing, the incoming school president. I'm pursuing civil engineering. I'm a 4th-year student.
And lastly, to Kiamo.
Thank you for having me. My name is Ithuku Kiama, pursuing a double major in political science and psychology, and God willing, I am the incoming president.
All right, and I take this opportunity once again to thank you for showing up and accepting our invitation in this one of the biggest interviews in the Multimedia University. So my first question goes to the current president of the university, who is Sheldon Washa. I think one of your manifesto is to change the constitution. What do you think you want to bring in the existing constitution? What change do you want to bring?
Okay, thank you, Chris. And I don't know why it seems we are being unfair because we should ask the aspiring questions, not the current. But well, because I'm the sitting president, students of Multimedia believe that it is high time we should have a new constitution, because you get there are a lot of clauses that are limiting comrades of their own freedom. You get where we are having needy students, they have their own money, but they cannot use that money because there's no any clause or any article that allows the student to use their own money. So I believe through the change of the constitution, students will be able to get this money, pay school fees, and even get something to eat. In campus, normally you guys say that kuinama. It is very normal, but it's so unfair because why should a student kuinama and yet there's money that they pay to the union and they can use that money to support themselves. In reviewing this constitution, there are a lot of clauses that are going to touch. So that clause of helping needy students is just one, but among as many of those clauses. So in summary, there's this clause for bursary kitty. The electoral process of this school is more of tribalism, which I feel is very unfair because why should you be limited aspiring this leadership position because of your tribe? You get there's a challenge to do with this one, class reps. Actually, class reps are not appreciated in whichever way, and they are vital positions in this school. Even the delegates who vote us in, I believe it is high time we should touch our constitution so that they can be considered.
All right.
And the next question is to Hilary Ayo, and I believe you're the Speaker of Congress. What have you done that you think MMU students entrust you with the university job, which is the presidential position? What have you done?
Okay, thank you. As per the MUXA constitution, the main role of the speaker is holding meetings with the Congress members on a monthly basis. A role I have done since April last year. I have had monthly meetings with all Congress members, and I get to get the grievances from their representatives, which in turn I draft minutes, which are taken to the office of the Dean of Students, and that's where the admin comes in.
All
Yes.
right. So my question now goes to you. The first question, Kiama.
Yes.
The multimedia students have experienced the leadership of Sheldon Washer as the president and the leadership of Hilary Ayo as the speaker. Why do you think, is it not risk-taking for them to give that top seat because they have never experienced your leadership? Because they say, better the devil you know than the angel you don't know.
You know, Chris, they say the taste of pudding is in the eating. I am here as a commoner,
Yeah.
as an ordinary comrade who have been subjected to dismal and poor performance of leaders sitting on my left. So it's the highest time that the plight of ordinary comrades must be heard. You know, there is a certain kind of bureaucracy which must be eradicated. Those who get to power, the speaker, the president, and those people who are the member of the student governing council, tend to alienate themselves and from the touch of ordinary comrades. So we must change that conversation, and if it means risk-taking, then we're in for it for full throttle.
So still the same. Do you try to mean that those with power don't have the agenda and those with agenda are not in power?
You know, those in power may have agenda, but they may have agendas which are not practical.
All right, I get you.
Yes.
And the next question is to Washa, the current president. You have a plan to renovate the hostels, do you?
Yes, I do.
Why did you not do it in your first term?
Thank you, Maron, for that question. Well, in the union, I've been there for, now at most it is roughly 1 year. While I was campaigning, there are some agendas I promised to students. And if you can trace back my posters, that my agendas were very clear there. Now, I'm sorry that students were facing a lot of challenges, starting from health, security, even academics. We are facing a lot of challenges. And the truth be told, these challenges, they cannot be solved within 1 year. So, Chris, I was almost asking you, what is the definition of a leader? I believe a leader should promise what he can deliver.
Sure.
I clearly promised Comrade three agendas, and for sure as we speak now, they are celebrating. Comrades are happy. I've delivered all the agendas. So my key agenda was security of comrades. It has been a key issue affecting students since I joined, actually, because I'm sure you know the common place called Bangla.
Yeah.
Students have been kidnapped there. Their property have been stolen. So as we speak right now, to curb that problem, my government has installed security lights. We've done it the phase 1. So we're here to do phase 2, which I believe it will be something of fast. If you are very keen on the ground, we've seen policemen around, and they always do how should I put it? They always protect them, they always survey at that place during the midnight hours. So I believe this is a problem that has been solved once and for all. So it is something of past. Then 2, we've amended our constitution. The only thing remaining is a referendum, where these new documents should be taken to the students, they look at it, then they decide whether they need it or they don't want it. So under the new constitution, we are having delegates, they'll be under allowances, class reps, they'll be under allowances. The electoral process will be doing, people will be campaigning as a team. When people campaign as a team, me and my team, we believe that if people campaign as a team, it will eradicate this thing to do with the tribal basis. You know, when campaigning time is is at its prime, people converge at their tribal level, which I believe for multimedia, for an international school like Multimedia, we are beyond those cocoons.
Sure.
So I believe when people campaign as a team, people will be looking a candidate as a team. What do they offer as an agenda? They don't look at you as when mtu wa nyumba or something of sort.
Yeah.
So I believe now, you've asked a question to do with the hostel. Yes, it is a challenge affecting students. And unfortunately, it wasn't my manifesto, but I'm very determined. I believe in myself in service delivery in my second term. That will be my agenda number 1. We are going to work on the hostel starting from Barara up to the prefab A and B. So we are going to renovate the hostel, install Wi-Fi, ensure there's clean water and security in the halls of residence.
Okay, so to you, Hillary, you are the current male halls representative, right?
Yes.
How will you convince students to vote you in, yet majority of them are crying of the toilets being in a messy situation, inadequate water, and many incidences of insecurity and theft in the hostels?
Thank you. On the issue of toilets, we have tried solving it by changing the cleaning company. And the only part which we have not done is sensitization on how the toilets need to be used. Since most of the time you can just walk in Block C and see what's happening there. Cisterns are being vandalized, taps are not there. It's the same students who do that. So sensitization needs to be done. What was the other issue?
The issue of insecurity
And that.
and theft.
Theft. When was that? September last year. We sensitized students on the need of getting antigens. Those locks are the basic ones you can get in the market. So you find the keys, any key can, there are some keys which can open other locks.
Master
So,
keys.
and yes, an antigen is the only solution.
Sure.
We have sensitized them, and some have heeded to buying them. There's also the company Electracker, which secures students' laptops. So whenever your laptop is stolen, you just report to the security office, and it can be traced back. Yes.
So the antigens are very expensive. Where will you get a source of funds to buy them?
Actually, whatever the union did was each student, you are 4 in a room or 2, you can raise money and buy. It was around 250 shillings.
So the budget goes to those
the students.
residing in a certain
Yes.
room.
Yes.
All
But
right.
do you think that it's it is the school responsibility to buy the antigens for the students?
Do you think it is economically viable?
Yeah, because we are students, most of us we're not working. So I think it's the school responsibility. The same way they pay the janitors to clean the hostels is the same way they need to buy the antigens for the students.
The school on that issue claims that is personal responsibility. Is it worth it losing a laptop worth 40,000 for 250 shillings?
No, but Hillary, remember, you are coming in to help,
Yeah,
right?
that's where
Could you be
we
coming
are
in to
offering-
help?
we are
Just,
offering
maybe
a
if
solution.
you can help me.
Okay.
If you are coming in to help, then you could be getting maybe a source of funds to help them, because these are the comrades. They use the word comrades, right? Who some even miss a meal and they use the term kuinama. So how will they buy these things that are expensive? You as a savior coming in, you could have gotten a better way of helping them.
And also, it's just like
As-
Washa when he talks about security, and then he tells the student, you just find a personal bodyguard to be walking around Bangla. So he and the school have taken care of the security. I think you needs to come in and take care of the antigen. They need to be delivered free to the students.
That's the solution we've offered as of now.
All right.
Yes.
Chris, I beg to answer that question, because actually that is what I'm coming to do in my second term. I believe that if you check on our school fees, there's that part of security. So I'm fully convinced that this mandate, the security of the student, it should be catered by the administration. I fail to understand why the school can't install CCTV cameras along our hostels, because I believe we are like Hostel B. It only have 3 floors actually. So when the school installs security cameras in the halls of residence, they'll be able to trace who is getting inside the room and is getting out to do what at a certain time. And I believe that is a problem, we'll solve it once and for all. Na hii mambo ya kuibiana, there's no need of these antigens. I mean, these kids, they normally open each other.
All right.
So I believe it will be something.
Do you have something to add?
Yes, I have something. You know, what my fellow brothers, if I may call them learned brothers, if my assumption is right, are trying to say, they are trying to give a bad dog a good name. The school, the first day, if we can be able to use a classic example of the draconian fee policy, which must be eradicated once I get into power, it says you must pay 100% administration cost and 50% tuition fee. So what does that mean? It means already the administration cost is there to take care of everything. But you know, my fellow brothers know the do's, but they don't know the hows.
I get you. Kiama, one of your agenda is to make Multimedia University a functioning university, right?
Yes.
And following one of the Aristotle's law of logic, which is a law of non-contradiction, it really states that you cannot be and be at the same time. Like you cannot be tall and short at the same time. So when you're saying that you're coming to make a Multimedia University a functioning university, I'll be logically right to conclude that you mean Multimedia University is a dysfunctioning university. What do you mean by dysfunctioning university, and how will you make it a functioning university?
There are a myriad of issues running from catering, academics, security, hostel, everything is in a mess. So what I meant by saying we want to make multimedia a working society. By itself, Multimedia University is a society.
Sure.
But does that mean being a society is functional? It isn't. So what I meant by saying I want to make Multimedia functional university, we must be able to address things, because we have been avoiding the basic things that need to be addressed. As the basic, if you cannot address the basic things, you cannot be able to set off and address bigger things. If you come to issues such as security, I ask myself this question: why is it possible a university such as the Catholic University of Eastern Africa is able to ferry students to and from school at a friendly fee? Multimedia does not do that, yet it have buses and vans. That means it will be a win-win for both the comrades and the administration. The administration will make some cash, and comrades will feel good, but a scarcity, because they will be free of burgling and theft. On to the second issue. It's about the academics. You know, Multimedia is known for big courses,
Sure.
such as media, engineering, and IT. But funny enough, it has never happened to its history or life that it has been able to even hold a single workshop. Why do campuses such as KC, a small campus, be in a position to hold a dev fest, yet Multimedia cannot? You know, all the leaders who have come before me have been regurgitating the same ideas over the years. They have the whys, the whats, but if you ask them how, they don't know. Let me give you a classical example of the class reps. Because The biggest thing that drives people is motivation.
Yeah.
It's not even cash. See, class reps we do not need, Multimedia is a big university. Don't you think we can be able to sit down with a corporate as a Safaricom or Telcom and be able to procure bulk SMSs, bulk data, and minutes? If a company like Syngenta is able to do it on monthly basis to its employers, why not Multimedia? Then the cost can be cut on yearly basis. That will mean there will be incentive, because my close friends are class reps, and they only survive on pressing the hash to call the lecturers.
I get.
And this question will be directing it to Washa and Ayo. During last year's strike, it was only one student who courageously came out and defended the students. That is Secretary General Job Mungare. Where were you two? And other leaders.
Okay, allow me to start. And maybe get your facts right. I was there.
You were there.
Yes.
Okay. And you, President?
Yeah, Miriam, that's a good question. Thank you for being concerned, because as comrades, we need solutions. Actually, we are beyond that era where students leader, they should be reminding us of a problem.
Sure.
Yeah. And I believe once I'm a school president, I should provide solution to our students. Now, I'm not a believer of rowdiness or making noise. I'm a so forth of strikes. But if there's need, then we'll be on the road, demonstrating and addressing out our grievances. So on that day, actually, I wasn't present. The reason is, I know I believe in diplomacy. Actually, and the biggest challenge the students were should I say, demonstrating against. Actually, it was peaceful demonstration. It was because of fee policy. And actually, it was the very, very week the school had communicated about the school policy.
Yeah.
And Chris, being that I'm in leadership position, and I know what is right, I cannot continue making what is wrong with the students because I want to entice them. You know, the school is being guided by policies. Be it VC or the school, they can't change these policies. So it is written as a policy. So what the school had reminded students, it was only a policy, of which it was upon our mandate to go and negotiate, and this policy to be at least adjusted to accommodate students. And for sure, Chris, I came and did that, and students were happy.
So you are the voice of the students, right?
Yes.
And
I
you said that
believe
day
so.
you were not there.
Yeah.
Did you know the strike was to happen?
Strike, I was aware about it. I tried to talk to my fellow student leaders about it, because, Chris, the truth is, okay, when you are demonstrating, it is a collective responsibility. As a group, it is making us happy. But Chris, for example, when you are shot, or maybe when you are hit down by a tear gas, the story will change actually. Now it will be where those student leaders who are leading the demonstration. So I always believe that let's try to negotiate. If it fails, then we'll be on the road. But doing a shortcut, because if you demonstrate, students will clap for you and make you the strongest leader, I don't believe so. I believe in problem, then you find solution.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Ayo,
Yeah.
if you win this seat, you will be the bridge between administration and the students, right? So, following the same incidents of strike, I'm still there. There is a law that states there is a law of excluded middle. You are either this side or this side. You cannot be in the middle. So, in such a case, will you sideline with the demonstration and betray the 7,000 students who voted you in, or will you take the risk of sidelining with the students, then be ready to face the consequences from the demonstration?
From the strike last year.
Just for example.
Yes, I'm starting from there.
Okay.
Courtesy of the strike, the roofs of Block A are being renovated, right? The basketball court has been done. So it has set precedents. In order to deal with the administration, force needs to be applied. If it means we go on strike, then I'm in for it.
So
I hope I've answered the question.
You have. So to you, President Washa, when I had an interview with you last time, you had said you are just finalizing on whatever you had started. You were fulfilling your manifesto, right? And I believe, just as you have talked here a few minutes ago, it says that you have actually done almost, let's say, 99% of whatever you promised to the students. How can you convince that multimedia university student who is watching you that you vying for the second term is not a sign of greed for power or for personal interest?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. In fact, if I will be on your chair there, I will say then I've delivered 105%. Because if you try to check the history, then I've actually overperformed. Maybe to correct my fellow aspiring candidate here, I don't believe if noise can make things happen in this school. Yeah, if it will be noise, then there was a demonstration last year, we'll have this change. If it is noise, the other year, there was in fact, the school was closed down, we'll have a change. So I believe in diplomacy. We negotiate, we pump sense in those people and demonstration, then they do justice for students, because like the issue to do with hostel, it is courtesy of my government. Yeah, I sat down the management and I told them there's need for our roofs to be renovated, because we pay for the hostels. Students, they should be provided with accommodation. They cannot live in those poor-looking hostels. Yeah, and so we push it through diplomacy, not noise, demonstrating. Now, now on my agendas, I've delivered all of them. My key one was security, of which I've done so. We are having currently MOOCs offices, which we've dealt with. Then the new constitution, as I've told you, only waiting for referendum. Then we'll have that new document, and students now will be overexcited about it because they're really waiting for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have a question about you saying that you do not believe in noise, you
Yeah.
believe in diplomacy.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to tell us that strike is noise. Because during strike, these people were fighting for their rights, and not just one right about fee policy, other things about security and other stuff. They were fighting for their rights. They were not making noise. So you're saying you don't prefer strike, because sometimes you have to use force for something to be done. So you're just saying that you do not go in with the strike because it's noise.
Yeah, Miriam, what you don't know, and I'm talking as a person who's been there. For the students to be heard, we had a meeting with them. Yeah, actually, if now the students will demonstrate, then they themselves to assume they are saying this and this. There's nothing possible. At the end of the day, people sat down and presented that we want this and this and this. They themselves said we can be able to do this and this and this. Yeah.
So, Kiama,
Yes.
at a point, you and your deputy were unopposed, right?
Yes,
and
sir.
you are almost clinching that presidential seat in Multimedia University.
Yes.
How did you feel at that point, and how did you come to feel when you realized that the two will appear in the ballot?
One thing, either way, I was ready for them because I was bracing up myself to face them and thrash them. So that wasn't a big deal to me. Allow me to reiterate the point that was raised by my worthy competitor, Ayu. I may not agree with him on many things, but at least I can agree with him on the issue about diplomacy. Diplomacy does not always work, but a blend of diplomacy and force can work. Because quoting from Thomas Sankara, he says, you cannot carry out fundamental changes without a certain amount of madness, because in this case it comes from nonconformity. The courage to invent the future and the courage to turn back on the old formulas. So I believe a blend of diplomacy and force can work wonders, because diplomacy does not always work. If it fails in the boardroom, then we can march in the streets. Because in the end, comrades must be heard. Because in the hierarchy of power, in the hierarchy of authority, I believe God takes them topmost. Then the comrades almighty, and now the other people.
So Hillary, some of your agendas are to work on the fees policy, right? And also bring in Wi-Fi to the hostels, and the issue of sanitation. How will you achieve this?
The issue of the fee payment policy. As per the code of conduct, whatever we signed up for was paying 50% for the first 8 weeks. You register your units. This semester, whatever was done, we were paying up to 75% to register our units. And no one raised an issue about it. I think that's a breach of what we signed up for. It needs to be reviewed. If possible, the percentage for registering units be lowered to 35%. The next issue, Wi-Fi. As a freshman, I used to reside in Block E. The union then bought access points, LAN cables, and Wi-Fi was there. I was surfing comfortably in my bed. But with vandalism, there's no Wi-Fi right now. Determined as soon as I'm elected, that's something achievable within a span of 4 weeks. The union can constitute a budget and procure the same. What else?
So still there, if this same administration is not ensuring the sanitation, let's be logical.
Okay, we are doing that. We are doing that at the cost of MUXA. There is the MUXA budget and there's the school budget.
Okay, so
you cannot construct a hostel as a union. It's not possible since in one academic year, the budget is roughly 5M. Tell me a big project the union can do with 5 million. It's not viable economically since you have the events. You need to construct gazebos and all that. That money is not enough.
So like in less than 10 seconds, is it logically right to go for Wi-Fi and leave sanitation?
This is a research institution. We need Wi-Fi. Yes.
So you opt to go for Wi-Fi and people stay in a messy place?
For sanitation, we need to sensitize people on the use first. I can renovate the cisterns and everything. In a span of 1 week, they're down. What have I done? Nothing.
Nothing.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, so this question is to Washa. There are many questions concerning the expenditure of funds allocated during Cultural Week and Freshers' Night. Are you able to explain how these funds were used?
Okay. I will be in a better position to explain that if I allow my supportive document. But just to clear my name, because understate is a political mode, and So one, we're having a budget from students. They normally collect their money in support of the union. So before even I spend 1 shilling of the students' money, it is approved by the school management, it is approved by the dean of students, and we always have a committee to do these expenditures. For example, recently we've had a cultural week. It is always done under the entertainment committee chaired by Shady Carls. So in whichever way, I believe from where I sit, the money, some students' money, they were spent properly, and no single coin got lost.
And if you're saying that no single coin got lost, how comes there was a confusion during the last day of Cultural Week? Because I believe it was not supposed to be held where it was held.
Yeah, true. Planning for an event is not an easy task. The way I've told you, there are a lot of procedures because these are public money. Because we have to do a proposal to the management. They look at it. They decide whether to be approved or not. So the process is tedious. So maybe coming to your question about the venue, Actually, now that I have to apologize to students because it was something that came, it wasn't planned for. Because actually, students, as I knew, we were aware that we're going to do our event at Stedmark. But unfortunately, the Stedmark, they came up with ambiguous demands that they wouldn't, as I know, we will not meet them. Because what we had on the budget, it could not facilitate us as Stedmark. So in that confusion, we had to find option B through the also the Dean of Students, so able to do an event at Sira.
All right, so I'll shift away from that and go to the question I asked your deputies, and they all agreed that the delegate way of electing the top students in the university doesn't portray the students' political voice. Giving this example, like when I vie for the delegate position, Marion and I vie, then in the Fameco faculty, maybe 60% of the students opts to vote in Marion, right? Then going ahead, because she is convinced by Ayo's manifesto, she votes in Ayo. Yet, could it be a one-man vote? The 60%, maybe 70, could have voted in Kiama. So do you all agree with your deputies that the delegate way of voting top students, student leaders, is not the best way of expressing a student's political voice?
We'll start with you.
I agree. Delegates can be compromised. Most of the time, the leaders we get are not what the students want. But then, that University Election Act was put in place by an act of parliament. So it's up to the parliament to review it and make changes. So it's not in our scope.
So
the university cannot handle it, cannot make any changes.
All right, so before you go to President Washa, you just say that, basing on the same, whatever the leader that comes out is not what the students want. In case you win this election, will you not be the leader the students want? just paraphrasing your question, whatever you said.
Maybe the 60% will not want me, but
Yeah.
now they'll just have to bear with me.
And you'll have to serve them.
Yes.
President Washa?
Now, when I hear this thing to do with the delegates, deep down my heart actually normally grieves because it has corrupted students' democracy. And you see, this act that was that was passed in Parliament, it was actually to screw out one individual, Paul Ogili, the Mbakasi East MP.
Yeah.
And now we as comrades, we are receiving the punches of those decisions for no reason. And so I don't believe in delegate system because it don't represent the real picture of students. And they say we're having this delegate system. So me as a person, I've done actually a lot of proposal to the Parliament of Kenya to review this delegate system. Now, we must use the same system to bring changes.
So you are against the delegate system?
Yes.
Okay.
But now I must use the same system now to bring the changes so that the plea of students should be, the plea of students to be represented at maybe at leadership level.
Kiama, do you concur with them?
Yes, one thing, this draconian bill, that University Act of 2016 that was brought forth by Aden Duale, has largely killed student activism. Years before, when we were growing up, we used to admire and wish to become university student leaders, because back then things could be done in a different way. But yes, now we are in different times, and now we have a delegate system. Does that mean when you are crossing a river expecting a bridge and you find a log, does that mean that you will not cross the river? You must find the ways to cross the river. So, if the DEG system is here, okay, we can use it as an excuse, but it shouldn't be one of the biggest excuses not to perform. So, all in all, it is not a good thing, but also that should not be a smoke screen or a decoy not to perform. You cannot entirely blame it on the DEG system because primarily, even in the House, the National Assembly, it is a kind of indirect democracy. So I believe if we are agenda-based and not tribal-based, we can be able to fix everything. Yes, but we cannot wait and not perform, expecting that the bill will change in a single day. You have to perform. There's no escape route. Yes.
Okay. Still on Chris' question, you all are saying you're not against, you're against the delegate voting system. You know, it's easy to convince the delegates, vote for me, I'll do this and this. What if it was a one student vote? Do you think it could be easier to convince them? And if it was one student vote, do you have a stand of winning, any chance of winning? We'll start with you, Kiama.
You know, maybe it may be tough to them because they are not vex populi. They are not popular. They may not be likable by comrades. But to me, that would be the biggest thing, the greatest thing that would happen to me. Because I believe that mass voting, that one man, one vote, ensures that everyone has a hand in the leaders which will be chosen. So if you are to happen one man, one vote, then it would be a good thing. Yes.
Yeah.
And next question.
Okay, well, Marion, about your question, actually, me, I would love it because I'll be able to interact with that common comrade, explain to him what I'm going to do. Because with this delegate system, by then I'm being limited only to address 63 delegates instead of a crowd. You know, because the changes we're bringing, it is directly impacting on a common comrade's life. Let's say, for example, they have installed security lights. It might be a Turkana comrade or a Kisii who is using the security lights. So I believe if it will be one man, one vote, it will be better to bring out the real picture of a student leader. Yeah.
On that, I can say it would have been easier for me to ascend to the presidency if the voting would have been popular vote. I mean, take a walk around school. I'm their favorite. Go to Block B. I have fans. So it would have never been easy.
All right. So this question also goes to the three of you. So your deputies agreed and concluded that they will follow this phrase, we agree to disagree. And at the end, they agree that they will come together and put their political agenda differences aside and come together for a cup of tea. Just as we saw in the Kenya's last general election when the current Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja came together with his competitor Polycarp Igathy and had a cup of tea together after general elections. So do you also apply, are you buying the same idea that you will put your political differences aside, then come together and embrace the spirit of brotherhood and share maybe a cup of tea together, or kila mtu aende kivyake? Starting with Yayo.
For me, Sheldon has been my friend, and I can't allow politics to divide us. We share meals, and nothing is going to change after this. For Kiama is also more than a brother. We share a lot of things, so nothing is going to change after third March. Yes.
Washa?
Actually, for those who know me, I believe in Ubuntu, the spirit of togetherness. In fact, earlier on, before this interview, I was sharing them, I told them, you guys you believe in my agenda. What is it you want to go for that I cannot deliver so that I can continue delivering as we work together? So we work as together. I believe all of us are fighting for a common agenda. We need that change on the ground. We need to see comrades' life better. So I don't think if the same goal can make us maybe separate or something of sort. Yeah.
So to finish up with Kiama?
Yes, you know, we must choose either a bottle of champagne or water for all. I decide to choose the latter. I believe under my government there will be space for everyone.
All right.
Indiscriminately. So I believe they have been my friends. We've been earning because I see everyone I meet, regardless of the status, in some way, that person is my superior because in one way or the other, I get to learn something from them. So I believe in an all-inclusive government, but I wouldn't want to handshake with everybody because that would mean there would be no a strong opposition.
Sure.
So at least I would want someone to remain in the opposition to offer the checks and balances. Yes.
I think your words are just similar to the current Kenyan President Samuel Ruto, kwamba hakubali handshake. So your deputies agreed to welcome Sarah Abigail and I wakiwa na kikombe cha chai. Just promise us kwamba mkiwa na hiyo chai pia mtakaribisha mimi na Marion.
Don't be selfish.
Sure.
And also I think this is one of the last questions. Good campaigns requires a good amount of money. And this question, I need a true, you just have to be honest with us, okay? So how much do you guys use during the campaign? When we will start with you, Washa, how much did you use last time and how much are you planning to use this time?
Yeah, truth be told, campaign is not easy. And actually it is kind of network. You can get maybe Chris is campaigning for you using his own money. So I believe it is a lot of money. But from my end, I can't say it was a lot of amount. I think it was around between 100,000 and 200,000. Part of that money, actually 100,000, it was from well wishers. Then because this is a dream and it was a journey, I had saved at least some coins here and there. So this money is to to facilitate the campaigning process. Yeah, and they Chris Miriam, they have told you that as a leader should provide solutions. It was too hectic because saving that amount is not an easy task. So that's why in our new constitution we're introducing a team campaign or a party whereby chairperson comes with the secretary general, the vice chairperson, the academic secretary. So they campaign as a team. They have the agendas as a team. So I believe this will be cost effective, whereby, for example, as a team, you can, let's say we are a team of 7 comrades. Let's say each person contributes 1 book. That's 7 books. I believe when they can put resources together, it will be a plus for the student leaders. Yes.
So, Ayo, whom do you, whom are you expecting to sponsor you or to actually fund your campaigns?
Amani Mungu.
Good man. Actually, I'm using my money, yes, to fund my campaigns.
All that huge amount?
You're putting your money at risk.
Yes.
That's okay. Nikona wrong.
You know, in my case, I am a comrades project. So Kiama is the face of all comrades, irrespective of where they come from. So I cannot be able to quantify whether huge or small. But all I can say is that running a campaign is not that easy. But the huge chunk has been catered by my fellow comrades who believe in me and who are very eager to the realization of a Sankara moment. Yes.
So Ayo, my last question to you. last. My last question to you. We know you're in control of one of the Chafua's food court. Have you had any interest to think about the persisting students' cry over the high food prices?
That is news to me. And again, I'll advise you get your facts right. Go to Jobless right now. The owners of the hotel are known. And that brings me to my other agenda. My union will focus on Pavilion. Pavilion provides quality at an affordable rate. I don't know which hotel I own. Unless I own it subconsciously, I don't have any.
So confidently, you can look at that camera and tell the multimedia student that you don't own any Chafua hotel.
I don't own any Chafua hotel.
All right. So the last question to the three of you: where do you see yourself in politically in 5 years' time? Starting with you, Kiama.
For me, I am a revolutionary, and I believe in bringing change. And if it means by bringing change, you can call me mad, be it so. So I am a mad person. I am obsessed with change. Change is my weakness. So, yes, we must check comrades' needs, but this is a stepping stone to saving Kenyans and Africa at large, since I'm a Pan-Africanist. So, in the few years to come, I would wish to see myself in the global scale, championing for black consciousness, Pan-Africanism, and repatriation of people of African descent back to their homelands. Because I believe we Africans, we are the biggest assets, we are the most bright, we are the richest. So I believe the next few years, the conversation about the current global matrix will be different.
President Washa?
Yeah, Chris, the future is untold, and we can only work with the wish. So I'm sure I'll be proceeding in my academics, and of course in the field of leadership, I won't relent, because we need that change, that at least that common mwananchi can get clean water, good food, health services, and even security. Yes.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
I've said I'll be proceeding my studies.
All right.
Yeah.
Ayo, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, given the fact that being a speaker of such a big institute lays a firm political foundation for any person in his or her political life?
What I'm sure of is I would have graduated, God willing. Past that, I can't tell. We leave that to God.
All right. So, very last, where can you be found in social media platforms?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Kithuku Kiama, on Twitter, at Kithuku_Kiama. And let this one be my parting shot. In the book, the play, Caucasian Chalk Circle, Bertolt Brecht said, initially, the valley belonged, but it was given to the fruit growers because it fits them. So, the administration, the student leadership, initially has been with people who are incompetent, but all is not cast in vain. To be handed over to competent people who will put comrades' interests in check. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Washa, social media platforms?
Yeah, first I want to appreciate my supporters, people who believe in my agenda, in leadership. And on social media, I'm available. On Facebook, I use my official name, Sheldon Washa Peter. On Twitter, I use my official name, Sheldon Angabo. If you just search, you'll get me there. Then I have my official contact, I think maybe for the purpose of where I can be found. Let me state it 0715 90 36 28. Reach me any out. I'm here at your service. Thank you.
Aya?
For me, it's Hilary Ayo across all, except maybe TikTok. But as I conclude to my supporters, the tide is going to be low, and on March 3rd, the naked swimmers are going to be exposed.
Wow. Taken. So actually, they say politics is a game of numbers, and whoever gets the bigger number wins. So yes. I really wish you the very best in your campaigns. And actually, it has been a pleasure having you with us in this Chris TV 254 Punchline. And we really wish you the very best, and may the best team actually win. So actually, to our viewer, it has also been brilliant being with us since we started to this point when we are wrapping up things. It has been the multimedia presidential debate. Of course, there is a lot in Chris TV 254, including the talk shows, football analysis, interviews just as this, and also there is tamthilia ya mwanamke gaidi. Usikose kuitizama, utampata kumjua Kidoti ni nani. So many thanks my co-host Marian, and I think we shall be talking much after this, and we shall be hosting very many groups or individuals to have such a conversation. So I wish you the very best, and to you it has also been nice, and until next time, bye bye for now.